Today I want to offer up a bit of a follow-up to the video I did on ambivalence, because that was kind of a tough one, and I had a number of you say, okay, I want to change the dance. And just as a matter of review, if you haven't watched it, I would highly encourage you to watch it. But there's a struggle, and one of the biggest struggles as a betrayed spouse is when your unfaithful spouse is ambivalent. And they've kind of got one foot in the affair and one foot in the marriage, and they're going back and forth, and we call that being ambivalent. And so it's really hard to manage. It's one of those things where you say, what do you do? And in the previous video blog, I talked about changing the dynamic or changing the dance. And in marriage, what happens is we get locked in this dance. We just do this because we do this, and this is how we do it, and it's just the way things go. And then infidelity enters the picture. And now we've got these dysfunctional dances that have been going on, and we can do that dance all through recovery. And so a number of you said, okay, well, how do you change the dance? I mean, we've been doing this. A good example is, I pursue my unfaithful spouse and I say, you should be doing recovery work. And then they don't do recovery work. And then I kind of chase them and I tell them and I do all my different, ways of trying to get them to do recovery work, and they don't. And it's at that point that I say, you're going to have to pull back and stop chasing them. They're going to interpret you as momming them or dadding them and chasing them. And so they're just running away from you. So change the dance, if you will. Change the dynamic, pull back and say, if you're not going to do recovery work, you're not going to do recovery work. I'll go do it on my own. I'll do my own recovery work. And as I said weeks ago, you get to not do recovery work, but life is going to change for you. And not to get into this big long review session, but there's ways where you can take the power back. So to answer your question, how do we change the dance? Well, first, we have to understand why we are changing the dance. Why are we taking the power back? Why are we creating ambivalence in the mind of the unfaithful on behalf of the betrayed? Why are we doing this? Well, number one, it's not to be manipulative. It's not about trying to manipulate your spouse into recovery. It's really not. But it is about really learning how to empower yourself. It is about taking some of the power back. It is about saying, you know what? I've got to do something to not just sit here and be a slave to the emotions and the desires and the wants of the unfaithful spouse. Number two, it's about working on you. The reason you're changing the dance is that you are saying, you know what? I can't make them dance a certain way, but I can dance a different way. And I'm going to work on me. I mean, let's face it, you're in crisis. I was just telling somebody this morning. If you're in infidelity, you're dealing with trauma, and you're in the middle of one of the biggest, if not the biggest crisis you've ever experienced. So you've got to have a shift where you say, okay, what can I work on in me? What can I do for me? What can I do inside of me? What do I need to work on? And that doesn't mean that you were a bad spouse, so that you've been betrayed, so now it's time to work on you so that your spouse won't ever cheat again. Not true. But you do have to work on you to cope with the trauma that you're now in the middle of. Number three is we've got to stop the insanity. We've got to stop. We've got to intervene. We've got to no longer keep doing the same things that we're doing, wondering why there isn't a different result. We have to say, you know what? I'm changing the dance. I'm going to stop this dysfunctional insanity. Someone's got to do it. And you know what? The unfaithful spouse who's cheated is not the healthy one. I'm going to take it upon myself, even though I'm still in crisis and traumatized. I'm the healthy one. And you know what? If it starts with me, it starts with me. I'm going to get healthy. I'm not going to let this ruin my life. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to change my life. Number four and I just added this a few minutes ago, is you want to change the dance because you want to get behind the veil to what's really going on. What do I mean? What I mean is you've got to be able to find out what's really going on in the mind of the unfaithful spouse who is ambivalent. And when you change the dance, when you stop doing things the way you've done them forever, you take some of the power back, you cause your unfaithful spouse to have to react in different ways, and it makes them start to reveal what's really going on. Samantha changed the dance when she told me one day, "You're a great dad, but I'm not going to stay married to you because you're a great dad." In my mind, I knew that if I was just a great dad, she would continue to kind of say, "Well, we got to work it out. He's such a great dad. I don't want to be a family without him because the kids will really suffer." One day she said, "You know what? I don't care how great of a dad you are. You can be a dad on the first, third, and fifth weekends. If you're not going to get serious about recovery, then I need you to know things are going to get really, really painful for everybody, and it's going to be your fault because you're not doing recovery work." That changed the dance. At that point, I responded with, "Okay, hold on. And it was like, we're no longer like, I'm just a great dad, so you just kind of go along with it and you just deal with it because I'm so awesome. You've decided, no, we're not doing that anymore." And that changed the dance, and what produced in me was a desire to say, okay, I'll do whatever it takes. Let's go. The switch has been flipped. I'm ready to do recovery work because you have empowered yourself, scared the hell out of me, and you have got my attention.